Thank you, ma'am. So good afternoon. Buenas tardes. I want to thank Elizabeth and Andy for having me. I played hard to get for 4 years, so I'm here. So as I was walking in, they're like, wow, man, you're kind of popular. I'm like, no, it's just a small room. So thanks for having me, and I want to thank all the sponsors as well for having us. So I'm going to be very authentic and transparent with you. I don't know if I'm going to inspire you, but I'm going to tell you a few things. I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to drop a little nuggets. As Eminem says, what is that? He says, snap, there goes gravity, oops, there's reality, or something like that, right? The sad thing is, y'all know what song I'm talking about. So, all the white people are like, yeah. Tough crowd. So, I know that we shouldn't assume, but I think it's a pretty safe assumption that everyone in this room knows the Astros won the World Series, right? Yep. Braves. So, Game 5, bottom of the ninth, center fielder Chas McCormick has that amazing catch, right? And if you know the play, that ball is going, it's screaming towards the fence. It's either going home run, bouncing off the walls, or he's going to go through the wall. Well, he made an amazing catch, and it's people are saying it's one of the best catches in the World Series. He leaps up there, bounces off the wall. He lands in a starfish position, looking up at the fans that are telling him he's number one and that his mom is sweet, right? For those that don't know the story, Chas is from Philadelphia, so that he grew up a Philadelphia fan. I say all that because what most people don't realize is that game he went 0 for 4 at the plate. For you non-sports fans, that means 4 times he went to go bat, and 4 times he went back to the bench. He either flew out, grounded out, got thrown out. In fact, his last at bat, which was the inning before, he struck out with men on base. Everyone forgets that because he made that amazing catch. So it's not just athletes, it's us humans, it's us business owners. We have a bad day, we have a bad week, a bad month. Got to get back out there, right? Entrepreneurs, how many business owners are in here? Okay, cool. Those are the risk takers, the crazy folks. We're a little different. In late 2021, I left Lone Star College, turned in my resignation. No, I did not have a job lined up. Con ganas, my business was not on my radar. In fact, I'll tell you right now, I failed at my first attempt at a business as soon as I left Lone Star College. That business was a partnership. I was trying to partner up with a wellness coach, and I'll get back to wellness here in a little bit. A wellness coach and a business coach, because I saw through the pandemic that the pandemic, I don't care who you are, it affected all of us, whether you owned a business or not. 2 weeks before we all got shut down and got sent home and whatnot, it was very unfortunate. It sucked, actually. I had to kick my back door down at my mom's house, and I found her dead. That was 2 weeks before we all were shut down. So you go from finding your mom like that to being sent home, and on the phone, at the time I was with the SBDC, and we're dealing with folks, PPP idle, that they were a day, 2, 3 days away from having to shut their business, right? And it was tough. It was gut-wrenching. That was my first dealings with, I guess, what we call depression. I didn't go see anyone. I was just, for several, and I have one that worked with me at the time, Miss Miguel up here. And everything was dark and gray at the time. I didn't know it. I didn't know it till I came out of it. And I just woke up one morning and everything was back in color. I was like, that's depression, I guess. And it was rough, but something that came out of that for me is what was important to me. Fast forward, when things changed at Lone Star College, I only tolerated that change for 4 months, and I was peace out. Because I told myself, look, if I'm not going to be happy here, I got to go get happy somewhere. I'm not going to sit here and whine and complain, You can only do so much of that. Then your friends start going the other way when they see you, because here he comes whining again. So I left, turned in my resignation. I had nothing lined up. Some viewed it as a risk. I viewed it as an opportunity because I believed in myself. As a entrepreneur, a business owner, as a human, we need to be confident in who we are, what we do along the way. Oh yeah, I have some snake bites on my ankles to show you. It's not perfect. In fact, he didn't know it at the time, but I don't mean to embarrass him, but Julio, you don't raise your hand, Julio Resendez, he reached out to me on my website at the time, and he didn't know it. I guess I didn't know it either, that I was in a little funk at the time, a 2-week little dark hole. I was like, man, is this gonna work? Because yeah, I mean, who here has not questioned themselves?
Oh, I have.
Yeah. You know, when I see Elizabeth, I say 2 things to myself. Poor Andy. Anyway, back to me. So Mr. Julio reached out to me, and I'm paraphrasing, so excuse me, Julio, but it was one of those, hey, I've been told I need to meet you over, blah, blah, blah. He finally got around to reaching out to me, and I wasn't with the SBDC anymore. I was doing con ganas. So we sat down. I'm a big fan of coffee, and I'll get to that in a second. And man, he told me his story, and I was inspired. I was like, let's roll. At the time, I'd been holding on to an idea about café con Miguel, which Spanish means coffee with Miguel. And I'll share something about that in a second. But I don't know, after hearing his story, I was like, what am I waiting for? And I just met him that day, and I asked him to be my guest at the first one. And I remember he was like, are you sure? I mean, we just met. And it's like, yep, come on. And we did our first one, and I've done a monthly coffee with Miguel for 6-7 months now. And so what that is organically people just come together, and several of you have been to it now. But I have someone up front with me, a business owner, and we have a candid conversation, unrehearsed. I don't share with them the questions, and we just have a conversation on their business journey, their life journey. And some of those conversations have gotten pretty emotional. But that's the raw beauty when you sit and talk with someone who's running their business and you ask those questions. And what I've learned over time is sometimes we are quick to tell someone what to do, what they should be doing, because a lot of us think we're experts. The good Lord gave us 2 of these and 1 of these. We ought to use these a little more. Just saying. And when you have those raw discussions, to me, I found that to be very impactful. And I still learn something from everyone I sit down with. It's not, I don't pretend to be the smartest guy in the room. I don't. And if I am, I'm in the wrong room. I think we've all heard that before, right? So here's something else I say, and I'm waiting for someone to prove me wrong. There's nothing that I say, and I've yet to meet a coach, consultant, advisor, strategist, guide, whatever the buzzword is out there right now, that is doing something, educating, informing, that is groundbreaking, that they invented. No. We all read the books. We tell each other which book to read. We just regurgitate it differently. Some of us do it better than others. It's how I articulate that message and how it resonates with clients. I didn't invent anything, nothing. A business plan is a business plan is a business plan. Yeah, there's a lean one. There's the big one, business canvas model. Marketing strategy is a marketing strategy. Your value proposition's your value proposition. Yeah, we'll make cute little acronyms to make it fit, right? But I did not invent anything. I just like to share that because I'm human, all right? I don't have an MBA. I don't have initials after my last name. Everything that I've done, that I've learned, has been 17 years of banking, and then 5 years of running and overseeing the Small Business Development Center. Excuse me. My degree is in criminal justice. After I got out of the Marine Corps, I wanted to go chase the bad guy, because while I was in the Marines, I was a machine gunner. So, Semper Fi, the little jarheads in the room. So here's what I will say, because I love talking to kids, and I tell the kids, yeah, I was a machine gunner. They're like, that's awesome. I dropped some reality on those kids. Like, yeah, you know why I was a machine gunner, though? My ASVAB scores were so low that they gave me a gun.
And a box of crayons.
Yes, and a box of crayons. No, that's true. That's true. Yeah, you're right. You're shaking your head. Yeah, that's right. My original orders were to go guard Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. Here's something else I learned in the Corps. This is how little slow I was. As a kid, I remember going every summer to downtown Houston with my mom. She never explained it to me, but I remember a green little notebook, little thing that looked like a passport. That was my green card. I didn't know it was a green card. I didn't know any different. So I go join the Corps, and I didn't realize that I wasn't a U.S. citizen. I could not go guard U.S. installations abroad because I was not a U.S. citizen, but I could run up a hill and die if it got to that. Of course, that didn't make sense to me at the time, but you don't argue with, the leadership in the Marine Corps, so I just did it. So yes, in the Marine Corps is where I got my U.S. citizen. I've raised my hand twice, once to join, and the other one was to become a U.S. citizen. I am one of those guys that doesn't like the thank you for your service. Let me explain that before someone throws something at me. How do I say this? Well, let me say it. First and foremost, look around the room. I went into the Marines 2 weeks after high school graduation. I graduated in '86. First and foremost, I didn't know any of you. That's right, so don't thank me. Number two, I went in because that was my way out, my way up. I came to the U.S. from Mexico, Monterrey, Mexico, to be exact. English was not my first language. So I went to school and I had to mimic the other kids. So when they were calling roll, I did what the other kids did, present or here. My mom cut my hair, so that was funny looking. She bought my clothes at Wieners, so that was weird. Those matching Garanimals outfits. Yeah, that was little Miguelito here. So yeah. Wetback, spick, beaner, swim back to your country, all those things I've been told. I got beat up a couple times just because my name was Miguel Lopez. The first time I heard my name in English, Miguel, I froze. I didn't know what to say. So I just did what the other kids did, present or here. I made a choice along the way because it is a choice. I made a choice not to hate. It is a choice. And it has served me well. It has. All that to say, I was a little slow with school. Both my parents didn't finish high school, in fact. So we didn't have those conversations at the dinner table on, so mijo, what are you doing after school? Like, I don't know. I went with a buddy of mine and we signed up to the Marine Corps together. I didn't know what I was doing. I was 17. My parents had to sign off. I didn't know what I was getting into. But it was boot camp in the Marine Corps that I learned my first experience of the mind is pretty strong. I didn't know that. No one ever sat down to tell me that. That when you're stuck in an obstacle, think of what's called Stairway to Heaven, for those that remember that one. Yeah, I also learned I was afraid of heights in boot camp. Not the best time to learn that you're afraid of heights. So I was on top of this obstacle, hugging this log thing, facing down, and I froze. And I remember the drill instructors yelling at me, not very nice words, that I better get down. I didn't get down. He went up there, which made it worse. But it took that one incident, and that's what woke me up in the brain. There was no way I was going to fail boot camp, because what did I have to come home to? Sure, at home, I could live with my parents and whatnot, but a minimum wage job, nothing wrong with minimum wage job. Sometimes you just got to go do it. But I knew I wanted more. At the time, I didn't know what I wanted, but I knew I wanted more than that. GI Bill was great. I got to travel around the world. So when I say, don't thank me, I should thank you. I should thank your parents, your grandparents. Your tax dollars got me all that. So that's where the don't thank me things comes from. I run into veterans all the time, combat veterans. Something about us veterans when we see each other, especially the combat. I'm not a combat veteran. Man, we just this look. It's when you think about it, veterans, we don't say thank you to each other. when you realize that they were in the Corps too, you're like, yeah, you suck. Yeah. I don't know if y'all know Joe Morris with Condition 1. Yeah. I met him earlier this year. He was a 0311 in the Marine Corps. I was a 0331 machine gunner. And we met. Yep. And he looks at me, and I'm just telling you what he said. He's like, God, you guys were assholes when I was in. It's like, yeah, we were kind of. Because we were just a step above the 0311s. We thought we were until you get assigned to that, right? Fast forward to Con Ganas, my business. So a few of you have heard of this, and I talked to Miss Cervantes. Was that? Yes, we were talking out there. She is Spanish, so she understood what Con Ganas stands for. It's so in Spanish, it's 2 words. I just put them together. Again, I didn't create this. I just do it. Loosely translates to do something with want, with intent, with purpose. And I did that because I didn't want to call my business Lopez Consultants, Lopez LLC, any of that stuff. But my memory bank took me back to when I was a little Miguelito, Chavito, and my mom, my abuelita, that's grandmother, either beating me or throwing a chancla at me, and which is followed by, y'all know what the chancla is, which was followed by, pero mijo, hazlo con ganas, which means, but son, do it like you mean to, do it like you want to. And for those that know me, know that that's how I live, work, and play, with intent, with purpose. And that's where con ganas comes from. Someone asked me, man, did you make that up? I'm like, no, I did not make that up. There was a method to the madness when I was putting this together. When that business failed that I told you about, I put everything together in about 2 weeks. The logo, the colors, the website, the social media. And I did that intentionally because there was a story. And by the way, everyone in this room has a story. Everyone. My story is not better than yours, it's just my story. That's all. Because someone gives me a mic doesn't make me better than you or smarter than you. I'm just sharing my story with you. That's all. Some of us in here have books to write. Just change the names and protect the innocent, right? Some of us have a few books to write. But we all have a story, all of us. I promise you. We all have it. And you don't have to be a business owner to have an entrepreneurial mindset. I recently worked with some clients and did a 3-day workshop on that with the employees. You don't have to be a business owner to have that entrepreneurial mindset. And think about that for a second. If you have to go back to an office after this, you can be a risk taker. You can be outside the box. You can be bring up something new. One of the things, and Julio has heard this from me so many times, several of you that I've gotten to know, my dear friend Ms. Mandy back there, I have to be different. I have to be different. I'm not the only coach in the area. Am I the best one? I don't know. You're not going to see an email from me when Woodlands Online sends their little thing, number 1, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I don't need that. That's not why I do this. It's not why I do this. I'm good at what I do. I'll let others argue about who's the best. I don't need that. Earlier last month, actually, I got 2 awards. I'm grateful for that. I am. Humbled by it. That's not why I started my business, to get awards. In fact, back-to-back weeks with awards cut down my billable hours. I was like, I got some work to do. But something I learned over time is be present and give yourself some grace. So yeah, I made time to enjoy those 2 weeks because I may not have another 2 weeks like that back to back, where the marketing was pretty big. It's kind of embarrassing. I don't have a PR firm. I don't have a marketing firm. I do all that on my own. But my good friend Jennifer with Hello Woodlands, we spoke about this, and she was like, "No, it's a story. Send it." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not doing that." I didn't send the second press release out for the award from Bell. Not that I was embarrassed about the Bell or anything. It's like I don't want something else to go out with Miguel. Sometimes it's too much me, right? I honestly felt that way. Elizabeth will tell you, because I've told her, I was like, do you really need to read my bio? I don't want my bio read. And some of that comes from, and I'm being completely just honest with you here, is growing up, I didn't feel like I was good enough. Growing up, I didn't feel like I belonged. I looked different. My name's different. I stuttered for several years as a kid. And now that I'm an adult, and I'm pretty successful with my business, I know I belong. I have full confidence in myself, but I still don't like my bio read. It's not about me. Over the years, I found my purpose. And for those, somebody was mentioning purpose out there. If you haven't found your purpose or you don't know how to articulate that, I can tell you where you can find it. It's at the intersection of what are you good at? What do you enjoy? And I throw two other road streets there. One, what breaks your heart? And two, for you business owners out there, can you sell it? Can you make money? You can love what you do. I had someone tell me, I just love people. Like, that's great. What are you going to do with that? I love people. Okay. Like, yes. Someone says to me, Miguel, money's not everything. And I agree with you. Money's not everything. I got a mortgage to pay. I don't know about you. I got a car bill. I do want to go have a nice dinner every now and then. Even if it's by myself, I want to go have a nice dinner. All right? So yeah, I hear you. Money's not everything. But you got to make some money somewhere. Does anybody disagree with that? Oh, that's what I thought. So your purpose. And by the way, when your purpose is bigger than you, life's good. There seems to be some clarity in the world. And when you can align that with your why do you do what you do? Why are you doing? It's music in your ears. And I wasn't born with that. I learned that over time. Because I promise you, over the years, I've made some huge mistakes. And I've learned from them. So for those that are, humans, the word fear, there's three things that we're afraid of. Public speaking, fear of failing, and fear of being embarrassed. And I used to be afraid of public speaking. I'm pretty comfortable now with it. I don't like talking about me. So this is kind of like big for me. For those that, if you see me on social media, I'm actually that, I just heard the word recently, ambivert. Anybody ever hear that? Yeah, I guess I'm slow. I just heard it. I'm an ambivert. And I was reading a study that, I think it was University of Pennsylvania that did this. I did a study with extroverts, introverts, and ambiverts. And you would have thought, I thought that extroverts would be the most successful in sales, business development. It was actually extroverts and introverts were kind of tied with that. It was the ambiverts, the ones that are comfortable going in and out of, that were way more successful at the sales and the business development. There you go. I won't charge you for that one. There's anxieties, insecurities that creep up on us. Yeah. Got a little demon on my shoulder that talks to me every now and then, and you got to shake it off. I just said a Taylor Swift song. That just came out. Life, that vast ocean of doubt, that self-doubt that creeps up on us. And we're taught at a young age, whether it's a T-ball coach, football coach, colleague, parents, that self-talk, which is valuable. It is. The just do it. You can do it. Don't quit. Chase your dreams. We all see the memes. Go roar like a lion. Go slay the day. Go be your boss, babe. All this stuff, right? Hey, if that is working, fist pump, you do you. But I would challenge you to turn that into a question. So yes, go roar like a lion. How are you going to do that? Go slay the day. How are you going to do that? It's been proven over time that when you ask a question, it inherently begs for a response. You ever have a conversation with someone and they don't talk back? They don't talk to you? It's kind of weird. So yeah, talk to yourself. Anyone says they don't talk to themselves, they're lying. Yes, talk to yourselves. I talk to all the different varieties of myself all the time. Yes, ask a question. And one of the most important ones is how. I love when I sit down with a client, Miguel, I want to increase my sales by $500,000. How are you going to do that? I don't know. That's why I'm here. I was like, no, I'm not going to. I don't do the work for you. Right? That's me. What else do I want to talk about? During the pandemic, a lot of, I've said this before, and I don't try to offend anyone when I say this, it's just me, how I look at it. So yes, I do, and I just got told I'm number one?
Yeah.
Okay. So during the pandemic, I learned about meditation, right? And so I started doing that, and I'm no expert at it at all. And someone who does know all about it will ask me, oh, what kind do you do? I'm like, what do you mean, what kind? I just turn everything off, unplug the phone, put the dogs up. I sit down. I don't lay down because it turns into a nap. I sit down and I focus on the breathing and slow down, and just next thing you know, I'm 15 minutes in my own little space, right? And so I do that. I read the Bible, not because I'm a born-again Christian, nothing against that, but I read it, then I go research. That's something I like to do because I grew up Catholic. I grew up being told what the Bible means and what it said. You get to that stage, you're like, quit telling me what to do. So I started doing that. The woo-woo out there. Hey, if it works for you, again, you do you. But because it works for you doesn't mean somebody else is going to buy it. You remove one of those woos, you got one woo left. And I'm not talking about the Ric Flair woo. I'm talking about WOO, window of opportunity. And all of us, everyone in this room, whether you own your business or you work somewhere, you have been afforded, been given, you've ran into an opportunity. Maybe this week, this month, last month, this year. Man, it's what you do with that opportunity. Nothing has been given to me. I have worked my tail off to get where I'm at today. I make no apologies for it. That's something else I've done. Just quit apologizing. Just do your thing. I don't try to offend people. I don't try to upset folks, but I really don't care what people think about me. Here's the asterisk to that, though. If you're in my core, you're in my group, you're in my circle, I care. I don't say that because I sit here and try and pick fights with someone. No, I don't do that. I quit caring about stuff that I have no control over. And once I figured that piece out, boom, it's magic. It really is. I know I'm short on time. I will encourage you to be different. Be different. Don't be like everybody else. Be different and own it. Earlier, we relaunched the Montgomery County Hispanic Chamber. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, been a lot of work. We're doing some things differently, and we love it. It's growing. It had been dormant for almost a year. We threw a little get-together, and over 225 people showed up. And no, they were not all Hispanics. I mean, they came out. And we're going to continue to do things. I think I'm done, 'cause Elizabeth just gave me that look. Thanks for having me, and if you brought food, thank you very much. You helped the Montgomery County Food Bank. Peace.